Alright, well, I finished Dragon Ball GT Episode 7, and I am not liking it. Um, this feels very, very much like a retread of, was it Dragon Ball Episode 4? Basically Oolong's introduction in the original Dragon Ball, where he was a shapeshifter, and he tricked a village into giving him young maidens and all sorts of things. And so here we have a very, very, very similar situation where a creature is terrorizing a village, and our heroes come across it, and they want a Dragon Ball, which is, again, the same as in the Oolong episode. And one of our main characters disguises themselves as the maiden that's going to go away with the monster, which happened in the Dragon Ball episode. So it's extremely similar. The only difference is that Dragon Ball had all of the events take place in one singular episode, whereas this ended on a cliffhanger. And this is not the sort of storyline that's good for ending on a cliffhanger, if you know what I mean. The villagers all look like rejected Zelda characters. We're running into, and I'm wondering if this is going to be a recurring problem within GT, because I've hinted at it in the I don't know what to call it, but the Don Kia arc or whatever. In that, Goku said, why don't we just go beat this guy up? And I'm like, yes, you can just go do that. No one's going to stop you because you're super powerful. And somehow it lasted 3 episodes. And with this, again, I'm wondering, why don't they just beat this guy up? They're clearly powerful enough to do it. You know what I mean? Like, they come up with this whole elaborate plan when I really don't think they need to. Goku could just, like, fly up and pull this guy's whiskers off. You don't need to go get him drunk, have one of your characters dress up as him, then go get a bunch of scissors and trim the whiskers off, which are causing the earthquakes, and it's a whole thing. I'm not doing a good job explaining it, but trust me, this is not a spectacular episode or anything. It's very blah. It's a shame because this is the first time where I'm like, okay, I can directly compare this to something which did it better. And I'm wondering, if I hadn't seen that episode of Dragon Ball, then would I be less harsh on this? Because I've seen this storyline be done in Dragon Ball, and I've seen it be done much better than it's being executed here, with a much faster, more efficient pacing as well. Here, however, it's like really, like, this is not the sort of episode you want to drag out into a 2-parter. Like, I gotta be honest, this does not lend itself to a cliffhanger, but they gave it a cliffhanger. It does not deserve a cliffhanger. It's like, now, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, GT fans. I'm sorry if you like this episode. Although, to be fair, I have been a lot more positive towards GT so far than most other people, but this episode is not, it's not doing it for me. I don't have much else to say about it as well. In the last episode, I should mention, their robot that they picked up, they named him Gil. And Gil has been eating a ton of stuff recently. Now, in his introduction, they mentioned that whatever Gil eats, he acquires the abilities of. So when he ate the Dragon Radar, he gained the ability to detect Dragon Balls. And in this episode, we see him eating scissors, and I'm wondering, it's mentioned that he's been eating scrap parts as well. So now I'm wondering if he has the ability to, be scissors, and if that's gonna be important later on. Like, if the scissors get destroyed that Pan has, then, they can just use Gil to snip it. Gil is very annoying, by the way. I just need to get that out of the way. Gil's a very annoying robot. I don't like it. He runs around, he's very loud, he repeats phrases in an annoying voice. I'm not crazy about Gil, but yeah, I'm sorry. Is this the turning point? Is this the turning point for me? Was I okay with GT up until this point and now it's over? I hopefully, I can only assume they wrap this up in the next episode. I cannot see this dragging out for more than 2 episodes. Hopefully this the next episode, things will begin to get better. I feel bad because I know there are GT fans out there. Although, to be fair, this might not be the best part of GT, but I don't. I am wondering if there are people who are avidly defending this episode, but I can't imagine it because it is the sort of thing where it's like there's a better version in the original Dragon Ball, and it just feels very weird how direct it is, but it's not executed in a way that's very engaging. Like the original Dragon Ball episode, they walk into town, it's very empty and mysterious, but they know there's Dragon Ball in there. They open up the door, Goku gets whacked on the head with an axe, and it's like it does a good job at pulling you in, giving a bit of exposition, getting into like the plan and the action, and it makes sense there that they would formulate a plan because Goku is not the strongest one out there in that Dragon Ball episode. They don't know if Goku actually can take out this foe. Of course, Goku can, but here I'm just running into the why don't they beat it up sort of. I'm about to sneeze. Oh Lord, hang on. I apologize, audience. I apologize for sneezing. Don't worry, I sneezed away from you. It was in the other direction, so hopefully it'll be fine. But as I was saying, so we're running into the why don't they just beat it up problem. And I'm wondering how many times am I going to be saying, why don't they just beat them up? You know what I mean? Like, Goku's really powerful. Why don't you just beat up the villain and solve the problem instantly? And this is an instance where I'm wondering, why don't you just beat up the villain and solve the problem instantly? And I'm worried that this is something I'm going to be saying over and over and over as GT goes along, especially with this style of storytelling, which is very more so episodic in nature, where you have more small-scale villains, as opposed to like really big villains. And this is a problem with power scaling in general, is that it's very difficult to have smaller enemies that can still pose as a challenge for your heroes, where it's like, because in Dragon Ball it's like, well, you've defeated this huge guy, so you really wouldn't have a problem with these minor guys, but that becomes difficult if you want to do a more episodic story. But I digress. Yeah, so not crazy about this episode. With that said, I'm still like, in terms of GT overall, there's nothing. I suppose I could get worn down over time with it, but I'm not like I don't hate it so far. Like, I don't like this episode, and there haven't really been any episodes where I'm like, yeah, GT yet, but I think, you know, with time and seeing, like, I've sort of resigned myself to feeling like this is not going to be an arc that wins me over. But I am still interested to see what the later arcs of GT might hold, so we'll have to see. But with that said, that's all I got for this episode. Was this episode 7? This was episode 7. For some reason, I thought this was episode 8, but I have episode 7 written down, like, right here, so I don't know why I thought I was talking about episode 8. I was talking about episode 7, and yeah, that's all I have to say.